Hello everybody and welcome to another Twilight Zone Retro Review. Today it is Season 1, Episode 31, The Chaser. Written by Robert Presnell Jr., starring George Grizzard as Roger, Patricia Berry as Leela, and John McIntyre as the Professor. So, I think there's going to be some varying opinions on this episode depending on whether or not you enjoy the old-time humor in this episode. I personally did. I found this episode to be a lot of fun, but I could see where it might not be for everyone. So I will get right into it. We start with our main character, Roger, and he's trying to make a phone call, and we can tell that he's really desperate to get in touch with someone, and he's really holding up the line of people waiting to make calls. Well, finally we find out he's calling a woman named Leela, who finally picks up the phone after about 5 tries or so. And you can tell that she's not really that interested in Roger, and she hangs up on him. So he wants to keep calling over and over till she'll talk to him more. And there's an impatient man in the line who tells him he knows what he needs and it's not a phone call, and he gives him a card to go see a professor. So we go to the next scene where Roger goes to see this professor, and he tells him about his situation, about how he's in love, and the professor tells him he sells all kinds of things, including potions. Well, it turns out that Roger decides to buy a love potion to get Leela to be more interested in him. And the professor tells him, he warns him that these potions don't always work the way you want them to. But, Roger's excited about it. So we go to the next scene, and Roger goes to see Leela, and she's still trying to brush him off. And, he brings her flowers, he brings champagne, and she still doesn't want to let him in. She's tough, I'll tell you. And finally she lets him in. And I do want to mention that I think that George Grizzard and Patricia Berry do a great job in these scenes. I really thought they were very amusing and they played the characters well, and it really helps this episode along. So Roger puts the potion in her drink after some time of her still not being interested in him, and at first nothing happens. He seems a bit disappointed, but slowly, and this is built up pretty well in a short time, she starts to come around. She starts to like him little by little. Then all of a sudden she asks what's happening. I guess she feels something come over her, and she kisses him. And like I said, I really enjoyed these scenes. I thought they were very funny for what they were. And next scene we go, and they're married. She's even more into him. As a matter of fact, she's so into him, she won't leave him alone. She keeps talking to him every second and trying to please him. She asks him if he wants his slippers or his pipe. And you can see he's a little annoyed, but he's actually pretty cool through this. He doesn't really get mad at her or anything. And finally, though, he seems like he's had enough, as she's really overbearing in a nice way. And he says he has to go out. So he goes to see the professor again, and he buys another potion. This one is called the Glove Cleaner. I have no idea why they call it that. But what it's really supposed to do is do her in. So what winds up happening is Roger, says she's so nice to him that he won't be able to do it. But finally he gives in and takes it from the professor. And then we go back one more time to the apartment where Roger goes back to Leela, and she's as happy as ever. She's still all over him. And finally he can't take anymore. He's going to pour the potion into her drink. As a matter of fact, he does. But here's the big twist. He finds out that she is pregnant. So he drops the glasses in shock. And it turns out that things are just going to stay the way they are. And Roger will have Leela forever, just like he wanted. And we do get one last cool scene of the professor blowing smoke rings in the shape of hearts, which is a nice, cool effect. The score is also pretty good in this episode, and I just really like the feel of this episode. It's nothing great. It's just meant for light entertainment. And on that level, it worked for me. I could see, some people thinking it's a little dated, that the humor's dated, that it's not that enjoyable. It's really just a matter of whether you buy into the premise and the humor in this episode. And for me, I did more times than not, and I enjoyed it. And it was nice to see Twilight Zone do something a little bit lighter. And I do like, the lesson behind it too. Be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. In this case, you might get more of it than you want. So The Chaser is solid fun, and I'll give this episode a 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5 for The Chaser. Thanks for watching.